Another fine wrestling coach. This one strictly coached during my time at Evergreen at the junior high school. His name, Sandavol. I've mentioned him before. Man of character and of action. Wrestled, I'm sure, a very lightweight even in college. He was not a big physical specimen, but he was a well-conditioned physical specimen. Did a great job of coaching for us. Related well to the boys, and he knew his wrestling. You know, I never was around Coach Madrid's practices, but naturally I looked in on Mr. Sandoval's, and I'll tell you what, he was obviously a very, very talented wrestler, and knew a whole lot of stuff, and he could get it across to the kids. I expect they had a lot more success than they were having a lot of success already in the high school, but after he was there a few years, Sandavol, coaching those junior high kids, I expect they had even more success. Wrestling is a skill sport. Oh sure, strength helps, but knowing your moves and knowing when to make your moves probably has more to do with who wins and who loses, by far, than physical strength. I may have mentioned that our son Roy's close friend Roger Henry used to amaze us when we would watch him wrestle, and that he wasn't a particularly strong boy. In a way, he was kind of a long, limber kid. He probably didn't have the leverage that some did. And it would sometimes appear, in fact, I really believe that he would stall a little until the other guy wore himself out trying to pin him or trying to turn him over for an extra 2 points and all that sort of stuff, and then wait for his moment and look out. Kid did very, very well, but he did it with skill, patience, and I don't attribute that necessarily to Mr. Sandavol. Just was entered my mind as I was thinking about wrestling. Well, I don't know a thing, really, about Jay's parentage, except you talk about the American dream. They had an American dream. From what I gathered, they were truck farmers. And you can be a truck farmer and have a lot of land, a lot of machinery and all, but I think they had their bodies, their hands, their feet, and some shovels, and some water rights, and did all right. In fact, Jay said that they didn't have much, but that his folks had saved and scrimped and had paid the way through to get the first boy, the oldest child, through college, with the understanding that we get you through, and then you get out and get a good job, and you get the next one through. And then that was passed down the line. He said, I had help so that I could go to college, and I helped the youngster next to me, and so on. Oh man, that's the American way, or it's the Mexican way, it's the human way. If you've got your feet on the ground and you're scrambling to get the job done, to let your kids go up and succeed. Well, Jay obviously wrestled at a fairly light weight up there at the University of Northern Colorado, Greeley. And I never did look it up. I don't know what his record was, but I'll bet it was respectable. He's married to a beautiful blonde girl. Didn't hear any big comments about that. And you know what really bothers me now today? Maybe it's going to get better after the election and with a man in charge of our country that is obviously such a good man. Oh, I guess just tonight I heard the news saying that some of the Republicans are trying to cut him down, but he hadn't even taken the oath of office yet. But I'm more bothered by the fact that Limbaugh and Haneke, or whatever his name is, and other right-wing fortune hunters make their money, get rich, knocking the Democrats and knocking the minorities. They pretty much tried to have a scapegoat for all the problems in our United States today, of that border and those Mexicans. Well, Art Madrid and Jay Sandoval are perfect examples from well before all this strife going on of good Americans of Mexican ancestry making real contributions to our society and our country and to our kids. Well, Jay was ambitious. Even when we had him, he had the goal. I didn't know this personally, but one of our friends, that was a closer friend, told me later, he had a goal. He wanted to get a doctor's degree and be a college teacher, and I suppose coach. I don't really know about that, but he wanted to have an advanced degree and be a college professor. And really, most of that story came to me after Jay died. One of our friends called and said that Jay has died, but he did achieve his goal of getting that doctor's degree and being a college teacher. Jay Sandoval, rest in peace. I have made no effort to keep track of your family, but I'll bet they did well because they had a father and a mother and some grandparents with values. Not values on paper, but values that were lived.